Hi everyone, welcome to the day 4 of RevenueCat Ship It In challenge. Today I had some time off Xcode for the first time and I still managed to ship something that I'm really excited to show you today. So the first feature was something that was requested on Twitter. So when I woke up in the morning, I saw this feedback from someone from Seva that they really loved the animated mesh gradients, and they asked me if I can do it with the colors from an artwork. And and because I have worked with so many music apps, I already had the code just ready made, so I just had to copy paste it from one of my previous projects and just put it there. So to show what I cooked up for the today was that I get the song from Apple Music, and I'm using the system player, so as soon as a song changes on the Apple Music app, it automatically shows in my app, and then I can use the artwork from there. So one of my favorite songs this year is Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, and it's an amazing song and the artwork is amazing as well. So this is the artwork that I get from the images. It's not as good as vibrant and popping as I expected it to be, and but it's good enough. It's a good start. I'm using core image. So I'm using a package that is built upon core image and uses the K clustering algorithm. I do not want to get much into the detail of it. I have explored it last month, and I will put it in a description below the Twitter thread about working with the colors, because I invested a lot of time to get it as good as possible. And another thing that I had thought of was using meshing AI for this, where I would give the image directly to the vision API of GPT, but I realized that GPT-4o mini costs the same as GPT-4 when it comes to images, and it's a lot, and I don't think it's worth in that sense. But I can also give it the dominant colors that I get from the core image using that dominant color function, and then give it to GPT-4 mini and ask it to like create more popping colors from it. And that's a good use case. I'm still exploring. I haven't shipped it. I'm still thinking about how the design would look like, but it's a good start. So I would show you a little bit more artworks of my favorite songs. One of the I love G-Eazy, and one of the I enjoyed listening to his album, the new album. And so this one is much better because we do not have a lot of colors to choose from when it comes to dominant colors. So this one turned out to be pretty well. And let's try something else which has more colors, like this one. So this one does not pop as much as I would want from a sunset kind of artwork, but it's a good enough start. I'm really happy with that. The second feature that I worked on is something that I found on Reddit when I was doing my user research about mesh gradients, is that a lot of people wanted mesh gradients and a layer of noise or grain effect on it, and this was something a designer requested as well. So I used, what did I use? Oops. I learned a bit of metal shaders with SwiftUI. It was announced. I found metal always intimidating. I still find it very hard. So I went and watched this amazing talk that I saw in iOS Conf Macedonia this year by Veronica. I would put the link of the talk below in the description, and it was a really good introductory talk where she talks about each of the parameters, and then she would start with giving us a very simple example and then build upon that. So I first watched that video, then I went on seeing another link which was by Jacob, where it showed a book of shaders, examples from the book of shaders, and I found one that was for the noises. But the thing about that, I will just if I can find it, I will Jacob. So this was the shader that I was talking about, but in this shader it gives you this white appearance that I did not want it. So instead of just taking the values, what I did was for each of the RGB colors of the current color, I would then multiply it with the value that I'm getting and then return that in the half-O function. So I would I can show you the code as well. Let's go back to metal shader. So I took the function. I do not need the time because I'm not I'm not doing the animations as of now, but I will in the future. So I used the cosine function instead of sine because I preferred it looked much better according to me. And then for each of the RGB values, I'm multiplying it by the value that I get, which is from 0 to 1, because in this method we are getting the fraction value that we are getting from the cosine, which will always be from 0 to 1, and it gives a good pseudo random value for each of the pixels on this on the image, so on the view. So it really helps. And to show the code of how I actually did it, pretty simple. It was a mesh noise view that takes the content, then applies the visual effect as a color effect on top of it, and then gives an overlay of with an opacity 0.8 because it was getting much darker, so I wanted that overlay on top so it maintains that perspective. So it worked out pretty well for my first metal shader. So let's see it in action. I will use one of the templates and then apply a noise on it. Another quality of life feature that I worked on today was that when you long press, it will expand on the whole screen and show the whole screen, which is pretty cool according to me. So instead of having a show mockup screen, you can actually know how your gradient, the mesh gradient, will look like when you use it as a wallpaper. And when I was using the app, I felt like the screen that we have on this is pretty small. On the iPad app, it's much better because it takes like 3/4 of the screen, but on the iPhone, it's much smaller to work with. So you just long press, it would become a whole screen, and then you long press again and it will take back its shape. So that was a good quality of life improvement. And apart from that, this was related to the technical part. Now, as a developer, I know if I'm an indie developer, I cannot go on doing this, adding features. I kind of like and love doing this, but I have to sustain this business as well because I love traveling. I am still on a vacation right now, and I'm in one of the states in South India to work from the beaches. But to sustain this lifestyle, I need to earn money as well, and to earn money, I need to market my app and make sure that everyone knows about my hard work. And one of the things that we can do when we are shipping this app is App Store optimization, which is similar to search engine optimization but for the Apple App Store. So I wrote a whole article on this, and I will also link it into the description below. So the biggest thing that I've learned from reading 2 books by Matteo, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correct, is these 2 books, which is on Introduction to App Store Optimization and Finding the Perfect Keyword. So these books taught me a lot. I just was not aware that so many things go on behind the scenes, and I feel like I think big companies do actually hire like a whole team to work on just the App Store optimization and things related to it, like the screenshots and the previews and the description. Today I just focus on the most basic thing that I could think of was the name of the app, which was meshing, but App Store provides 30 characters. I wanted to make sure that I utilize each one of them. So I wanted the word AI in the app because, as I mentioned, it is the meshing AI is using GPT-4o Mini heavily, and I also want to ride the hype train. I missed out it last year, but I do not want to miss on it, and it's a cool feature. It is there are upcoming features that will use meshing AI more, so I wanted the AI mesh gradient tool in the name itself. And in the subtitle, I did not want to repeat the keywords and waste it, so I said design vibrant color patterns, which because I wanted the app to rank for color and gradient and mesh words and patterns and design. And then I chose the category as graphics and design, and the secondary category as productivity. Then moving forward, for the app itself, I have not worked on the screenshots or the description, but I worked on the keywords. The keywords were very difficult to work on. I started with the most basic one. There are only 4 apps that are targeting this keyword, which is called mesh gradient. Then I chose gradient design. I found AI generator, AI design, wallpaper, background aesthetic wallpaper, because this app will kind of become a wallpaper app later on. I have a dedicated section to just click on one of the templates and directly save it to your albums. And because these gradients can also animate, I would want them to become a live wallpaper as well. So I need to see how I can do that, but that is on the roadmap. So I'm just kind of preparing myself for the next month. So for this, I used an app for finding the keywords. I used an app called as ASO, which is an app store optimization tool for Apple developers. I think it costs $99, and I think it's worth the money. I will put the link for the app in the description again. I should just say link in the description, like just be much more faster on that. So this is how I went about using this app. So I have a lot of my apps already on there, and it was really funny that Gradient Game is one of the apps that have been working on for the past 5 years. And when I see the keywords that it ranks for in the US market, you can see it ranks 3rd for gradients. It ranks 1st for gradients game, as the name suggests, and it also ranks for gradient maker. It does not make gradients. It ranks for gradient app, and many others. The popularity of them is much lower, so it does not affect much of the downloads. It may get some impressions, but does not affect the downloads at all. But because when you are using the app store on your phone, you see that you just see the 5-10 max apps on the first page, and then you would most likely find the app that you want. So you have to make sure that you rank in the top 10 for the keywords. So the popularity is the number from 0 to 100 for how popular the word is, or like how searched it is. The difficulty is from 0 to 10 of how difficult it is to rank in the top 10 for the keyword. Like gradient, it's very difficult, that's why I'm on 28, but for gradients it's only 55, so I'm ranking 3. And what I've realized is that for all of these keywords, you have to make sure that you do not use the plurals, because it's okay to use like a normal word and it will automatically kind of rank for the other one as well, the plural as well. And the ranking, from what I read in the book, is that ranking starts from the name, then the subtitle, then the keywords. So I tried my best to put the name of the keywords in the keywords that I want the app to rank for in the name itself, then the subtitle, and then put the others. I did not want to repeat them because it was a waste of characters in the keywords. So I think I got a good grasp of how I would want the basics of my ASO to work. And another thing that I did was I added all the keywords for different countries. Like US is the biggest market, we all know that. I also added keywords for UK, China, Japan, and Germany, and France, and also localized the keywords using Claude, and found that some of them do rank well. And so the idea is to find this compromise where the popularity is higher and the difficulty is lower. So it's like, if it's like 60 to 70% of popularity and the difficulty is like 40 to 50 or 50 to 60, then you have to find that balance. I couldn't find much on that scale for most of the keywords. I'm still looking for more and see if I can rank well for some of the keywords that are searched more, and it's easier to rank for them. That's like it's like a detective game where you are doing this keywords game that you're playing. So in the end, I also went on, and for my app I also localized the name, and with the help of my friend I also localized it well for simplified Chinese. I think it says smart AI mesh gradient tool, and I also localized it for Japanese. So with that, I think I did some good progress when it came to ASO. The next step on the ASO part will be to work on the promotion text, the description. That would take, I did not want to do it right now because I'm adding so many features at such rapid pace. I'm not sure what the end, like what it would be in a few weeks. So I did not want to like write a description that I would discard later on and I have to write something else. So with that, I feel like I have been yapping a lot, but I hope you learned something useful about ASO and how to work with metal shaders and the code. And I do not have much plan for tomorrow. The code base is getting, I don't want to swear, but it's becoming a mess. So I need to kind of clean it up, refactor a bit. And one good thing is that meshing AI is going to become a package because a lot of new stuff is coming up. So I'm really excited to how this app evolves, and it is evolving at such a good pace from the community feedback that I am just kind of taking the feedback. I'm like, oh, I didn't even think of that, and then take it and implement it in my app itself. So good times ahead. We still have like 40 days of the ship it in. So very excited. Thank you.